And we're back here at the Onion Creek Soccer Complex in Austin, Texas, the 2024 USAFL National Championships. This is a men's Division II match as the Baltimore Dockers take on the Seattle Grizzlies. The Dock Show in the orange jumpers with the black trim. They are headed from left to screen, but here are the Seattle Grizzlies heading to the left, from right to left, beg your pardon, heading towards the tournament central end. Brian Barish alongside Heath Moore, who joins me for this match. We'll introduce him in just a moment. The Seattle Grizzlies come in with a record of 2-0. A win will put them into the grand final, while the Baltimore Dockers with a record of 1-1. They need a victory and get some help. Very good morning to Heath Moore.
Good morning to you, Brian. It's great to be here. Beautiful weather today, and looks like the two teams here are at it right from the center bounce.
As the ball comes back in the middle of the ground, the Grizzlies went to the grand final a season ago, lost in heartbreaking fashion to the Sacramento Suns, and that has driven them just about the entire way. Big bumping contest put in there as this one comes out into the middle of the ground, as going after the football once again and staying with it. Going to get handballed up over the top. Here come the Dockers back the other way. Sending this one down the ground. It bops up in front. Going to get knocked down. Here comes Zappel, who tried to get through the man. This is O'Connor, who has the football now. Ball gets taken down, and we have a whistle and a free kick from behind play.
Yeah, a little bit of high contact there. The Seattle player came in. Looks like he collected the other number 7 there, his head in the contest there. And unfortunately, fortunately he's fine, but unfortunately it's a free kick.
As the ball comes back in the middle now, as this one is sent down the ground. And that one's going to be, here is Banksy. That's all you need to call him as he goes out to the far side. Oh, what a nice mark over the top. And he looked almost flat-footed there, did the man in Josh DeGrande. DeGrande sends that one just off to the left-hand side. And the umpire taps himself, points out the ambidextrous, and we have our first score of the game. That's on the Watch AFL scoreboard, 1-0 to the Seattle Grizzlies.
Yeah, quick start. Pretty intense from the very, very beginning. It's still dew on the footy, so it is still a little wet. I'm sure it's going to be completely dry by in the next few minutes. But given an adjustment from the players trying to adjust their play for the wet ball. Lots of hand passing going on in the middle here. Hand passing out to space. Number 34 decides to run himself through a pack. Another hand pass to the feet of another hand pass.
That's Austin Cox, and I'll tell you what, that's a long way down to the ground for him as that one is sent into the pocket, and we have a big old whistle, and it's going to be a free kick, and it looks like it's going to be coming out. And the call was called behind play, so the free kick will come into the middle of the ground. Jesse Galston, the former Boston Demon, sends this one down the ground. Almost taken. Ball drops to the turf. Cox has the football now. He looked like a giant spider there, as he was torn in all sorts of directions. And then it's going to go and get picked up. Going to get picked up once again and sent back by Max Rennie. Sent down the ground. Ball comes to ground once again. A lot of ground level play, Heath. And in this weather, there's still maybe a little bit of dew on the ground. It's starting to burn off as the weather gets a little bit warmer, and you're going to see the grease watermelon effect less and less as the game goes on.
Yeah, that's right. And the players have to adjust for that, and that is not as easy as it sounds.
High contact, and it will be a free kick. And this one will come all the way back. So the Dockers have the ball on their halfback flank. The Dockers need to win by I would say a pretty decent margin. Don't have the specific numbers, but they would need to win by a pretty specific margin to overtake the Grizzlies and get into the grand final. If Seattle wins, no arithmetic would be necessary.
And not having math is a good thing, Brian.
Well, I mean, I like math. The problem is that you have to do math on the fly. And if need be, you and I might need you to talk for a little bit while I get out and put a spreadsheet together.
Well, I'm happy to do that as you put that in the supercomputer. It looks like the ball spilled over the boundary line. Looks like we're going to have a boundary line throw in, as you do when that happens.
And go ahead.
Actually, a ball up, and here we go. So a tap forward.
And it's going to be taken by Banksy, who will send this one across, looking in front. Dropping that one was Saleh Tayyabji. Tyabji, normally a defensive specialist, up on the forward line. That one dribbles home. It is a good football goal. Grizzlies draw first blood on the Watch AFL scoreboard. They got a 1-1-7. Baltimore no score. That's going to be very important for Seattle to keep the pressure on over the course of the entire 40 minutes. I think that's going to be the biggest thing to beat a team like Baltimore that plays a lot of games. The win right now, not a huge factor. They have to take advantage of that as they can.
Yes, they do. And in this format, this Lightning format, we only have two 20-minute halves. The goals count almost double. And if you can pile them on in the beginning, it creates an insurmountable hill to climb if you find yourself behind.
Grizzlies were winners over the Columbus Cats 34-18 yesterday morning, and in the afternoon they had a pretty straightforward victory over the Austin B-side 73-1. Baltimore, meanwhile, fell to Austin 29-16, but then came back and beat Columbus 46-13. So this is, as we said, the Dockers have themselves in a good position if they can get a sizable victory here. Doesn't need to be anything astronomical, but they are going to need to get a goal here as they have an inside 50 entry. Cox going up against the man in, O'Connor. Ball drops to ground. Looking a little bit like Stuart Broad. The mark is taken by Banksy. Thanakin Chaichana. They said just call him Banksy, and so that's what we're doing.
Easy enough.
Ball comes in the middle of the ground. Well, that is his middle name. He's not doing anonymous graffiti all over the place, although if we find some, we know who to blame. As the ball comes up on the far side now, Seattle streaking forward, but this one is going to get called back, and Baltimore is going to get a free kick from their back left pocket.
Not sure what the actual reason for that call. I'm sure the umpires know, so we'll go on faith that they got it right.
I was watching the play a little bit further downfield, but that's okay. The ball will be kicked up on the far side, almost taking that mark off of a blade of grass, and it was very close to the boundary line, and the boundary umpire will come over and wipe off the ball. It looks like he's shining a cricket ball there just for a moment. Arches the back. Ball comes circumrevoluting its way back in front of our sponsor backdrop, which includes Coopers and Tasmanian, two of the presenting sponsors of this 28th USAFL National Championships, as the ball once again goes out of bounds about 70 meters around from the Baltimore target.
Yeah, we keep talking about the greased watermelon effect, and I think that effect is still in effect, where the ball isn't quite bouncing true. Players have trouble taking marks, that kind of thing. And there may be some nerves here in the morning.
Harkens back to my camp days at Willow Grove Day Camp, where they would chuck a greased watermelon in the pool, and you'd have two teams having to push it to the other side, hoping maybe at some point that sport's going to show up on the Ocho. As the ball is up now, and that one is sent through the hands, and we'll have a ball. We'll have a ball in. Brian Barish alongside Heath Moore. Glad to have your company. Game 2 of 8 here on Divvy 1, here on Cooper's Field, beg your pardon. And remember that in about 4 hours' time we'll have here on Cooper's Field, we'll begin the grand finals with men's Division 4, Division 3, Division 2, and then women's D1 and the men's Division 1 as well. As Premiership winner Mason Cox strolls by the commentary position, we see watching his brother. Of course, Austin plays for Seattle, and Nolan plays for Austin. Figure that one out. As this one is sent down the water. Well, it should be the other way around. Nolan plays for Austin, and Austin plays for not Austin.
That's all confusing. I'm going to have to write that down.
You're going to can't tell one from another without a score sheet. Ball is up on the far side now, and waiting for the boundary throw-in. Umpire Ellen DeVries chucks the ball back in the play over her shoulder. Ball comes back in once again, and once again it has gone out, and once again we'll do it again, except this time it's a free kick, and it will go the way. He's getting the football is John Bruce. Don't bring me down, Bruce, as the ball goes up on the far side. My dad's name is Bruce. He keeps telling me it's Gruce is the song. I actually saw them in concert not too long ago, a couple weeks ago, ELO.
Did you really? The Electric Light Orchestra.
Yes, Jeff Lynne's Electric Light Orchestra, because
Yeah.
it's basically Jeff Lynne playing ELO songs.
Oh.
Although his band is pretty good. I highly recommend. Well, the tour, if you have a chance to see it, I know the tour, it's his farewell tour.
Is it?
Yeah, you should go.
He's got to be up in there in years. The tour is probably sponsored by Geritol.
He's, I think we actually looked it up. I think Jeff Lynne's only about 75 or 76.
Oh, wow.
As the ball comes in. But, he's also been doing this a long damn time, and he's probably tired as the ball is up on that forward pocket. Seattle trying to put forward.
There.
Big tackle put in there. Oh, that one ricocheted, and that one went through for a behind. I want to explain. We'll give you the score. Watch AFL scoreboard. They get a 1-2-8 Seattle to no score. Had that gone through the big sticks, that would have counted as a goal. Anything that goes in off of, basically, it's from the knee on down. If it were to go above that, there's actually a specific goal umpire signal. If it comes, I guess, anywhere between your hip and your knee, then the signal is, it's like leg buys. They tap their knee. It's like leg buys in cricket.
Wow, I did not know that. That is a little tidbit that I have learned today. Both for cricket and
yes.
Aussie rules.
I was going to say, how long have you been? You've been in the league longer than I have.
Yeah, this is my silver season.
Oh,
25 years, and I did not know that. So I'm a student of the game still.
Yes, this is what you do by sitting in the commentary position with yours truly. We have a massive humanity on the other side. Meanwhile, on the Watch AFL scoreboard, Seattle leading 8-0, as we mentioned. The Grizzlies are trying to hang on. If they win, they're on to the grand final once again. They are looking for their first Division II grand final since my first season, 2008. It's been 16 years, and they won. They got up over Calgary in Division II. Big fly there by the man in Matthew Zappel, and Baltimore rushing the ball forward. It's a 2-on-1 contest. Ooh. Big hit.
Massive hit.
Massive hit. Didn't win the football. And we'll have a ball up dead in front, however, as getting tackled was Trent Loosemore from the Canadian national team. And it will be a ball up. It will occur maybe about 20 meters from the Baltimore target as they are knocking on heaven's door. Cox with the win out. Seattle trying to gain the football, picked up by Banksy. Nice handball over to Loosemore. He bangs it down the ground. 2-on-2 foot race here. Now 3-on-3 as the forwards join the fight. Ball gets knocked down. As getting knocked over was McAuliffe. Gets the handball back, sending this one down the line. Hugs the boundary line like a teddy bear. Nice mark taken over the top by Val Cafaholi. The Albanian native sends the ball in the middle, but he turns it over. And here comes Seattle back the other way. Both teams looking good. They're still kind of feeling each other out a little bit so far, Heater. But I do like the passages of play on both sides.
Yeah, it seems a lot less one-sided now, where Baltimore seem to have got their legs and their passage of play and just organizing the transition.
And here comes Seattle with an opportunity inside the 50-meter arc. And the whistle blows, and it will be a free kick. And Seattle will have an opportunity to grow their lead.
Yeah, a bit of an awkward tackle there, and I think he just came over the shoulder a bit, maybe unfortunate.
And we have a 50-meter penalty, and I'm not so sure it's not Michael Horney who is in the umpire's ear. And this will make it an almost certainty to bring it up the point-blank range. It is Max Rennie, and Max Rennie doesn't break stride in Matthew Wilder fashion. And that is the second goal of the game for the Grizz. They go to 2-1-13. No score for Baltimore. And we have unofficially 6 minutes to go. We've unofficially played 14 minutes to go here in this first.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Fortunate if you're a Seattle player, but kind of an awkward tackle. The umpire blew his whistle, adjudicated what was going on, and never a good idea to express your opinions in any way other than respectful.
Yes.
And that resulted in an extending the lead for Seattle.
What Pat McNeil, our friend from AFL Canada, would say is, I've seen many arguments with umpires, and I've never seen one that's been won by the player.
That is true, and I think that's a unifying law of the universe. They do not change their minds.
Nope. Just to give you an idea, by the way, the other two teams, the Austin Crows reserves, they would have to, in order for them to factor, they're playing the Columbus Cats. They would have to win pretty convincingly, one would think. Meanwhile, the Houston Lone Stars are playing the DC Eagles. The Stars are 2-0. And with a win would also go into the grand final. DC would need to win. They don't need to overcome the percentage hurdle, as high of a percentage hurdle in that matchup, as this one is cleared out the back by the Dockers as that one drops in front. Going to get pushed forward there by Patrick Pryor. Picking that one up there was DeGrande. DeGrande with a big booming kick into the forward pocket and over and out of bounds in front of McAuliffe. And we'll have a boundary throw in. Unofficially less than 5 minutes to go here in this first term.
Yeah, that kick was probably meant for the goal square, just a little off target, so Seattle weren't able to make anything of it.
Best laid plans of Mice Men, Grizzlies, and Dockers as the ball comes spinning back in the play. The wind is still not as strong as it was yesterday, and that one sails across the face. Did stay in the field of play, I believe, as Saleh Taibji, the longtime Sacramento Sun, now playing for the Seattle Grizzlies. I think this is about his 5th season. Nice mark in front. And rising up high to take the mark was Banksy.
Banksy, yep. He's had a tremendous amount of touches already here in this match and just read the flight of the ball a little bit better than the pack.
Best and fairest at the Western Regional Championships in Salt Lake City back in June. And he will line up to try and extend his team's lead. Strides forward. It is dead center, perfect, but bam goes Sid Caesar at your show of shows. And on the Watch AFL scoreboard, the Grizzlies extend their lead. They go to 3-2-20, and no score yet for the Doc Show.
Yeah, this Seattle just seemed dominant here. They're a little bit more organized. They're able to get that transitional play, and even, one percenter kind of things, like just reading the flight of the ball where Banksy was able to take that mark in the center square. So Baltimore looked dangerous. They're just not able to organize their attack.
I have a question without notice here for you, Heath. You said this is your 25th Nationals. Talk to me very quickly about the changes you've seen in this particular tournament since you first started playing.
Well, it was, smaller obviously, but the quality, especially in the top two divisions, the quality of play is so much better. The teams are so much better and so much more athletic, and the clubs have an infrastructure now. We have people that have aged out from their playing life and are now administrators and coaches and doing marketing and things like that. And so the clubs are maturing, and it's really great to see. And having seen how clubs operate in Australia, we're moving in the right direction, especially the larger clubs.
John Bruce will throw the ball, get set to throw the ball back in the play. Up on the far side, John Bruce went after the football, beg your pardon, as that one gets taken down by the Dockers, trying to extract it. Everybody falling and playing aggro twister. Remember, it's right foot green, left foot green, and so on. Right in front of the Cooper's Beer Tent. And that Cooper's Beer Tent will open in about an hour and 45 minutes for those of you with an alarm. And, Heater, one thing that I don't think has changed at all is on that Sunday afternoon at Nationals, when all of the other divisions are done and you have the women's D1 and men's D1 grand final, you're going to have just about the entire league lined up on the outer side of the ground, watching, getting set and watching the finals. And
that is one of the great things about this tournament is that, we're enemies Saturday and half of Sunday, but once the beer tent opens, the whole footy community comes together, and we're all friends, and we all watch those grand finals and come back together and renew all those friendships that maybe you put on the line just a handful of hours ago.
Ball up will occur about 45 meters around. Ball gets knocked down as Chet Rittenauer comes zooming by us. Patrick Pryor held up his opponent without the football. We'll have a free kick for, well, it looked like he did. Yeah, he held up. It looks like he was held, beg your pardon, and it will be Val Cafaholi. Cathaholi will come in. He's about 35 meters out. The kick is up on the way. It is sailing across the face. Goal umpire is there. And he awards a goal, and the Baltimore Dockers have entered the chat. They needed that goal pretty badly, Heater, as we come towards the end of this first half. Watch AFL scoreboard. The Docs show go to 1-6. Seattle, 3-2-20, 14 points of difference.
Yeah, that was a good-looking kick from about close to 50 meters out, and that'll give Baltimore something to hang their hat on as they go into halftime and whatever adjustments they're going to make. But you can imagine how deflating it'd be to go in with donuts on your side, but just have that one goal is going to give them a bit of a lift.
It's nice that they don't have a half a dozen Timbits. At the end of 20 minutes of play, it is 3-2-20 to 1-6. And, it's been Seattle has done well, and they will have that slight breeze in the second half. The breeze isn't really much to speak of so far. It's only about maybe 5 or 6 miles an hour, not a whole lot of gusts happening so far in this first half. We're going to step aside, come right back with the second half. You're watching the 2024 USAFL National Championships presented by Tasmanian and by Coopers and presented by Gridiron Productions here on USAFL.com.
The USAFL 2024 Nationals is brought to you by Tasmanian, the quiet pursuit of the extraordinary. Coopers, Australian made and owned. Coopers Beer. Visit Austin, live music capital of the world. Aussie Sports USA, the official apparel provider of the USAFL. Qantas Airlines, the spirit of Australia. The Australian Consulate General, Houston. Three Cuts Gin. Odin Mortgage and Tax. CyberSolve IQ, the inaugural cybersecurity partner of the USAFL. And by USAFL Foundation. Play on.
Now we're back. Whoop. Woo! Let's try this again. Hang on a second. We're back here for the second half of this game between the Seattle Grizzlies and the Baltimore Dockers. The Grizzlies hanging on to a 20-6 lead. Brian Barish back here with Heath Moore. This men's Division II Pool A battle as the Seattle Grizzlies, the top seed, trying to make it to the grand final for the second consecutive year in Division II. And they defeated, by the way, San Diego in the Division III Grand Final back in 2017. That was their last championship. And, of course, they were winners in 2008 when they defeated Calgary back in Colorado Springs. That was my first Nationals. Can't believe that I've been a part of the league for more than half of its existence.
Yeah, that is amazing. You've been pretty much and you've become an institution here, which is that is a compliment in case you folks at home don't know what I mean. Hoping that Baltimore can capitalize on that last-minute goal in the first half. Looks like they're going to get a chance.
As the ball is kicked by O'Connor. That's a pretty good kick as that one carries up all the way. It is just tipped off the line, just kept in play, but he did turn the ball over. Two chances there as both Aaron Wolf and Isley Autry went after the ball. And it will be a mark, and it will be a free kick from in front. It will be an odd angle as Wolf is at an angle that is probably cuter than my daughter.
So a slight breeze.
Kick is on the way, and it is dead. Center, perfect. They needed that one, and Baltimore with an early goal. They go to 2 straight, 12. They trail by 8 points, 3-2-20.
So that's got to even be a bigger lift for Baltimore. That's first goal sets the tone for the half, and that's got to give them a heck of a lot of confidence to think that now they're basically a kick and a half away from taking the lead.
And it's interesting. We see the flags blowing again towards the Onion Creek side, to the right side, which is means that Baltimore is kicking against it. I don't know. The flags aren't as stiff as they were yesterday. But, that may change during the course of the day. In fact, the wind is going to pick up as the weather gets warmer, which, as we've said, I think will be great for the players. Banksy going through. It's a 3-on-3 there for Seattle, right through his hands. Going to pick that one up. DeGrandy with a don't argue. And a big job of defending there by the Dockers. And it fumbles out to the near side, trying to get it, but ultimately not, was Bryn Hansen, the Perth native, former Philadelphia Hawk. Will have a boundary throw in for the with the Grizzlies in their right half forward flank.
Yeah, big effort there by the number 34, the full forward, but just couldn't string it together. And kudos to the Dockers for bottling that ball up.
Big kick in there by John Bruce. Bruce gives the ball up as the ball goes out to the far side. Big turnout there. And there is DeGrandy, and DeGrandy with a DeGrandy goal.
That was an amazing goal from essentially over his shoulder from the pocket. A tumbling kick, found the sticks to extend their lead.
The Watch AFL scoreboard, that is a big answer. They go to 4-26. It's back out to a 14-point lead, just 2 goals straight for the Baltimore Dockers. That was a big answer, and that, I think, shows really how far Seattle has come. And one of the things that Rob Munn and a couple of the other Grizzlies have told us over the course of this weekend, they really took what they had, that sort of disappointment in losing the grand final to Sacramento a season ago, and they really honed it in because they have been participating alongside the Burnaby Eagles as a part of the British Columbia AFL. That's a 4-team league, and they actually won the minor premiership. It takes a lot of dedication to do that because most of the games are played up in the Vancouver area. That's about a 3-hour drive. So you are doing 7 hours, and in fact, we were talking with Dan Wicks, who is doing yeoman work as our photographer here this weekend. You have to do 7 hours round trip essentially to play 1 or 2 games of football.
Yeah, that is quite the dedication, and to bring that many players to commit to that type of effort is pretty amazing. And kudos to them because that's not easy for clubs to do.
Ball will come up as you see a little bit of a tussle for the ball between Rennie and Hansen, and Hansen dragged down Rennie, and then that's going to be a push in the back against Bryn Hansen. That's a nice little battle that's developing. Rennie has a man on his right if he wants him in. Rob Budd instead, he sends this one down into the middle of the ground. Ball goes up over the top, chasing after it again as Banksy. Banksy picks this one on a hop. Big handball to a wide open Josh DeGrande.
Great hand pass by Banksy. I mean, the vision and the accuracy to put that in when he was within his kicking distance to make it 100% sure that they'd get the major score.
5-2-32 to 2 straight. It's out to a 20-point lead on the Watch AFL scoreboard. And Heath, Seattle, I think Baltimore, they're still trying to figure out how to react to some of this, and you really, really shouldn't have a full forward who is standing in the goal square all by himself.
Absolutely not. I spent most of my playing career in the backs, and that's not acceptable.
Ball up in the middle of the ground once again as the ball goes down. Again, Isley Autry in there, going to get picked up by O'Connor. Autry stays with the football now, comes out to the near side, going in, trying to pick that one up with Zach Johns, and Johns was knocked sideways ever so slightly. Ball now squirts out to the far side. Over to get it is Cafaholi. Couldn't get to it. And now, once again, it's everybody goes down mushroom farming. Throw a blanket over half a dozen players, and we'll have a ball up on the outer side. Brian Barish alongside Heath Moore. I was going to call you Heater Moore, but that is your nickname.
Yeah.
Of course, from the Wisconsin Wombats, who combined with St. Louis and Cincinnati as well in the course of this weekend, and glad to have your company. Of course, we have all the matches thanks to Gridiron Productions, and our thanks to Kevin and Kevin Jr. and John, and Jerry, and all the camera folks and everybody bringing you the action here from Onion Creek. And of course, our thanks to Visit Austin as well for putting us up again for the 5th year, for the 5th time, and the first since 2021. Here's a kick on. It's a worm-burning, finger-breaking mongrel kick into a down on his knees, Nick Siska. And that one goes up on the far side. O'Connor able to find a friendly face in Cafaholi. Cafaholi looks. He'll go and kick this one up on the far side where it's marked by another Docker. And if you're watching from Australia and you go, hey, wait, if they're the Dockers, why aren't they wearing purple? Well, the Cincinnati Dockers are purple and white, and the Dockers are a name in I don't think they have the affiliation with Cincinnati, which is one of the reasons why they can get away with going with different colors as the ball's on the other side. The other thing, it's interesting, you might be saying, well, Baltimore, they're inland. Why are they the Dockers? Well, they're not really. They're at the top of Chesapeake Bay. It's a beautiful city, driven by it, been to it numerous occasions, not terribly far from where we are in Philadelphia. And also worth mentioning that between 1998 and 2017, they were actually part of a combined club with who is now the D.C. Eagles. They were the Baltimore-Washington Eagles, and they amicably split at the end of the 2017 season. And D.C. is competing in Division II as well on the opposite side. Going to get picked up, and again, Autry going after the football. Goes up on the far side now. Banksy bats it onto himself. He had the football, but unfortunately he ran out of real estate. And we'll have a boundary thrown on the outer wing position. On the Watch AFL scoreboard, it's still a 20-point advantage. Seattle 5-2-32, Baltimore 2 straight 12, and they are roughly 12 minutes away from a second consecutive D2 Grand Final.
Yes, they do. You know, you mentioned Banksy. I'm really enjoying watching him play. He seems to, he's one of those players that just finds the footy.
Yeah, I mean, he's so fast. That's the other thing, Heater, is that, we saw him at the Western Regionals. He's onto the football in a flash. It doesn't matter where his position is. He has a nose for going after it, and then you turn around, and then you have to deal with number 12 wearing the black and emerald green.
Right.
As the ball is up on that far side now. Waiting for the ball to be kicked, and it is sent down the line. Well, good one-on-one contest. Looks like the Baltimore player was appealing that Ryan Ellie infringed on his mark attempt, but in fact it will be out of bounds and a boundary throw, and again on the outer wing position in the intense side of the field because there are people over there intense. Every time I say that, I think of Scooter Matheson, who he and I, the first time I called Nationals full time, we were over right where the Cooper's beer tent is over there, and host Scott is doing well back in Melbourne, Australia. And hopefully we'll love to have his dulcet tones back once again. Haven't called a game with him since the International Cup in 2017. As the ball will come back into play. They scramble the Jets. Play on is the call. Handball up over the top looking for the 62 for Baltimore. Unlisted for the Dockers. As that one is picked up and now trying to go back to go forward. Banksy, there is him again. There he is again. Going through, there was an affected handball. Queen Bold and getting picked that one up. Staying with the football in is Doug Fitzpatrick, who was a prime mover in the Western Regional Championships.
So it looked like he had a push in the back. The call, like we've talked before, was protested.
Yep.
And now we have a 50-meter kick that's going to give Baltimore a chance. And a little bit of handbags going on here, kind of right in front of the goal square.
And a yellow card has been shown, and it looks like it's going to be to Trent Loosemore. Now, if you're not familiar with in the AFL, they don't have a card system. Here it means that, and meanwhile, in the middle of all of this, there was a shot on goal and a goal scored by Baltimore. So a lot of things happening and only 2 sets of eyes here, but that's a huge goal for the Dockers. They go to 3 straight 18. Back to a 14-point lead. So what's going to happen now is Loosemore is off the ground for 10 minutes. He can be replaced, but he can't be. So that's the set. So that is a big loss for Seattle because that's one of their bigs.
Yeah, and that's pretty much going to have him out for the rest of the game. We've got unofficially about 8.5 minutes.
Ball will come back in the middle of the ground once again. It gets taken down, picked up once again. Zappel sends this one high. It's going to bring some clouds. Munn in there trying to get the football. He throws 2 and 3 Shepherds in on the man in Aaron Wolf. As the ball gets picked up, ball gets sent forward, and it gets knocked. And once again, there is Banksy who takes the mark. He does so about 50 meters out. He's going to go back and have himself a crack, and you would tend to think that if he slots it home that the Grizzlies are in a really good position to make this grand final.
Yeah, absolutely. Based on previous experience, looks like this is within his range, but the breeze is kicking up here, going left to right where I'm sitting.
He'll be like Christopher Cross and riding with the wind here. The kick is up on the way, left-footed kick, drifting to the right. Goal umpire watched it all the way. It is dead center, perfect goal to the Seattle Grizzlies, and that extends their lead, and it's now 20 points separating the sides. Watch AFL scoreboard, 6-2-38 to Baltimore, 3 straight 18.
Yeah, Banksy again showing us, a bit of class there. If I was the Dockers coach right now, I would the adjustments. Now's the time to make some adjustments. Maybe tag that player. Maybe make some adjustments to neutralize him. He just gets way too many touches. He's got too much influence on the game compared to the other 17 players.
Ball come back in the middle once again, and Baltimore, well, they've always play a pretty heavy schedule. In fact, I remember their first couple of seasons, them playing 20 games. And, of course, you have to take that with a grain of salt because in some places sometimes they were playing multiple games, multiple teams in a day. They would do the thing kind of like what we're doing here where they would go and they would play 20-minute quarters, 2 20-minute halves, sometimes 2 or 3 games. But by the same token, you're talking about a dozen or so dates. So Baltimore is pretty well worn during the course of the season. But on this day, Seattle looks to be the better side as, again, appealing there for something. And the Dockers not terribly happy with what's happening here, and I wouldn't be either as the ball gets knocked forward, at least on the scoreboard, as that one is rushed on through to the other side, and they're able to just concede the one behind. Watch AFL scoreboard, see Seattle go to 6-3-39. And it is a 3 straight 18 for the Dockers. So out to a 21-point lead. They need 4 goals. And one thing that you have to factor is that unofficially we're under 6 minutes. One thing you have to remember, there's no time on. You have to add essentially a half minute, take away a half minute for every goal at the very least. As the ball gets sent in and it goes across the face, chasing after it is Cafaholi. Umpire pretends he's landing over at Bergstrom Airport, spreading his wings, as opposed to Mr. Mister, who said, take these broken wings.
But you've got to try to learn to fly again.
Yes.
Learn to be so free, or whatever that was.
No, I think that's it.
Is that it?
You did well.
My Mr. Mister is a little rusty.
Yes, so is mine. As the ball is up on the far side between Mr. Mister and the.
You would have the Mister.
The Dinosaur Jr., all those games. Was. We have gone into 80s mode. If you follow the USAFL socials, by the way, at USAFL1997 on Instagram, and if you follow Facebook.com/USAFL, you'll note that there was a never-ending story reference.
Oh, lovely.
Yes, so it says the ball is, good juggling mark taken by Rennie off of a good entry by Carl McGough, or McGuff, rather.
Yeah, that was a great lead and a great kick into space. That's something you also see in the as you go up in divisions, where players will weight their kicks, put it into space, knowing and have the confidence that their teammates are going to recognize that space as well and run onto it.
He's going to stride forward. He's going to take all 30 seconds that he is allotted. Umpire, or the man on the mark, doing star jumps. Kick is up on the way. Umpire does not move. Goal once again. And it's party time for the Grizzlies. They're headed to another D2 Grand Final. Watch AFL scoreboard. They go to 7-3-45, 3 straight 18 for the Dockers.
Yeah, time literally and figuratively running out for the Dockers here. If they would have to be do something pretty amazing to bring this back to an even score. Now, in this game, those of you watching in the United States, even though this score is so lopsided, you will not see any let up by the Dockers. They will still try to pump absolute desperation to try to bring this game back into their sights.
Ball come back in the middle once again. Hit out one by Austin Cox, who's now moved into the ruck with Loosemore effectively out for the game with that yellow card. We didn't see a Baltimore card, so I think it was only given to Loosemore as the ball was dropped in front. And it'll be sent back from whence it came by O'Connor. And the ball gets knocked down in front and cleared out by Zappel. And the ball is kicked forward, going across the face here. It'll drop in front of 2 defenders. Here is Tyabji, but I believe it's gotten called back. It has.
Yep, pushing the back, and it looks like that's going to be a downfield.
Yep.
Kick.
It's going to be a downfield free kick, and so it will be given to the player who was offended, and that will be Zachary Johns. And Johns will go back and decide to go the short option. And once again, Baltimore's defense not manning up. Here is DeGrande, who says, I'm going to add a little flair to this one. And that is a good exclamation point for the Grizzlies, as the Grizzlies women getting set to perhaps have an outside chance of playing in a grand final in their own right. Cheer on their men's team, who will play at a grand final. We'll call it now. 8-3-51 for the Seattle Grizzlies. 3 straight 18 for the Dockers. The Dockers have played well all season long, but unfortunately their season is going to come to an end in about 2 minutes' time. Of course, that's unofficial. We use that disclaimer.
Anything can happen. But it's looking less likely here, minute and 40 seconds to go.
I would say, unless they can bend the physics of space and time, as Banksy.
That was an absolutely. So you boys and girls watching from home, the way he rove that contest was absolutely perfect. He on pace, front and center of that contest, was able to take it, and it wasn't marked. He didn't have anyone with him.
No.
And he's a dangerous player. And the kick was also pretty mercurial.
That was top shelf, where Grandma keeps Grandpa in an urn. The sad news is Grandpa's still alive as the ball comes back in the middle of the ground. That's a Darryl Ray joke, as we are less than a minute to go. The Grizzlies up by 49 points, by 39 points. There's the math for you as the ball comes back in the middle of the ground. So Baltimore's going to finish the weekend 1-2. I'll tell you what, they had some really good performers. Isley Autry's been well. Terrence McAuliffe, who had a few touches here today. Val Cafahali, who you have to think of who's going to be in the running for the Jeff Can medal and for the Cooper's medal and also for the Paul Roos medal. As the final siren goes, the Seattle Grizzlies, much the best. They're on to the Division II Grand Final. The final score on the Watch AFL scoreboard, the Grizzlies 9-3-57, defeating the Baltimore Dockers 3 straight 18. We'll have our Tasmanian player of the game in just a moment. Heat, some final thoughts from you.
Well, I mean, evenly matched teams, but Seattle they were more organized in their attack, especially. And that made the difference. Leaving players unmarked, that's just letting those loose players, those star players, do their thing is, in the end of the time, at the end of it, hurt the Dockers the most.
Yeah, absolutely. And Seattle made them pay. And one of the guys who made them pay is our Tasmanian player of the game. I'm going to attempt it. It is Banksy, but it's Thanakin Chaichana.
That's correct.
Wow, holy crap.
That was good.
Hey, congratulations. Great job out there today.
Thank
you. Talk about this entire weekend. You're 3-0. You're going to be playing in the grand final. What's going through that brain of yours?
We just got to reset and play our way. We can't get involved in the other team side and the umpire side. We just got to play our game and stick to what we're doing, and we'll get the job done.
Tell me about your background. Where are you from? Where are you from originally?
I was born in Thailand and moved to Perth, Australia, when I was like 7 and started playing footy for there.
How long? I think this is your first year.
First
with the
year,
Grizzlies, right?
I arrived in May. Came here over to visit my girlfriend in Vancouver, and joined the Burnaby side, and which was part of the Seattle side as well. Yeah, and they brought me down over. Yeah.
And what do you think about the standard of play versus like what you've played in Perth?
Oh, it's tough here.
Yeah.
It's tough here. Yeah, it's physical and it's quick as well. Yeah. Yeah.
And talk to me about this particular carnival. Obviously, Australia has a lot of really good stuff in Australia. A lot of great carnivals.
Yeah.
Nothing like this, though.
No, nothing like this. 50 plus teams here, and it's good to see everyone here.
All right. What's the next couple hours going to look like for you? I know a lot of recovery, and you've got one more team. We're still trying to find out who that is, trying to get some scores from the other ground, but I'm sure it's not going to make any difference to you right now. You're going to be playing for a premiership.
Yeah. Just reset, relax, recover, drink a lot of fluids, and eat. Yeah, just reset.
Absolutely. Banksy, congratulations on a great tournament. Good luck in the grand final. Thanakin Chaichana, a.k.a. Banksy, your Tasmanian player of the game. Once again, the final score, the Seattle Grizzlies 57, the Baltimore Dockers 18. We move on to Women's Division I action when we return. It's the Golden Gate Iron Maidens and the Denver Bulldogs right here on Cooper's Field. You're watching the 2024 USAFL National Championships brought to you by Tasmanian here on USAFL.com.
The USAFL 2024 Nationals is brought to you by Tasmanian, the quiet pursuit of the extraordinary. Cooper's, Australian made and owned. Cooper's Beer. Visit Austin, live music capital of the world. Two Hands Hospitality, fueling your lifestyle. Watch AFL, stream every match. Devil's Corner, Tasmania. HBC Event Services. Play Aussie. Premier Sports Medicine. And by the Movember Foundation.